So the last video I made, I talked a little bit, excuse me, I should have cleared my throat before I started. I do apologise. I know probably triggers some people and they'll think I'm a lizard person or a police AI or something. Sorry, I do apologise. I didn't know my throat needed clearing until I started talking. Anyway, yeah, the last video I did on talking about us all being kind of connected up to a system, and that's how they have the ability to control people to carry out certain acts. It's like done very unconsciously, and I was saying that even some of the things that I do, probably like just clearing my throat just then, is going to be designed to trigger other people. A lot of this in the environment is very much planned. It's the things I put in place, the kind of furniture, if you like, the props around you are very much placed there for a reason. But there is people that they can definitely get to do things, and it makes me wonder how it's done. It's the same way as I think I've said before. I'll just be on my phone and I'll just have my eyes will glance towards the battery percentage, and it'll be 77% or something, and I'm totally unconscious of the thought coming up to making me look at that, but something does. Something's certainly doing it. And I was saying the example of the guys checking the bottom of their shoes, and I suppose you could say that it's technology that's available that we all know about could be that could explain it, because you see a lot of these wankers wearing earpods. That's a favourite among them, is earpods. If you notice people walking around, they'll all have them in, so they're probably receiving directions of some sort directly into their earpods. They're hooked up to some kind of app or some kind of system. Someone's giving them some kind of directions. But some of it, just like I say, me kind of bending over, and then this guy who I'd played music loud to before just happens to walk past at the same time. It's very designed behaviour, isn't it? And it happens to me all the time, and you can fall into the kind of way of thinking that everyone is doing these things on purpose. But I'm clearly, I wasn't doing that on purpose to him. I didn't mean it. I didn't know he was walking behind me. I was just bending down to put my bag on the floor to get my glasses out. But when people do it to me, I don't necessarily always see it that way, and it's trying to kind of remain. I suppose that's how they want us all, that if they want us all, they want us thinking that every single person around you is involved in doing this to you. And like I've said before, I don't think it's the case, but when you're emotionally high and your stress levels, your anxiety levels are through the roof, it's really hard to remember that. And you do just think that everybody is doing these things on purpose, and everyone's against you. And, that's kind of the programme, isn't it? That it does make these people kind of turn against you. And I think some of it has to do with DNA. I got charged with some gang stalkers started an argument with me in the park, and then they phoned the police and said that I was the aggressor. I'd been sat there quietly minding my own business, but I'd had a drink, and then they came there purposely to wind me up, and got their kids to kick a ball towards my dog, and then the guy kind of smacked his kid so that I would say something, and then when I started shouting at them, they were going, "What are you staring at? What are you staring at?" And then I started retaliating, and then the police, it was all a big setup, and the police came and arrested me. But a few weeks before that, I said they took my DNA, but they took my DNA because I had a Stanley knife. I was a lorry driver, it has tools, not a Stanley knife, sorry, a Swiss Army knife on my keyring. It has tools on it, they're useful for me in my job. It's not an illegal weapon in England, funnily enough, just Scotland. But a couple of weeks previous to that, I've told the story before about how they arrested me for communications issues. They said because I was having a text argument with someone that I had been in a relationship with. Again, another gang stalker. He's part of the network. It's just they just set these things up. This is a constant as well. It's a Reference Remembrance Day. They never want me to forget what it was that they tried to do to me or did to me. It's like, remember that. Also, it's my mum's date of death. I think it's the 11th, it might be the 12th, but Remembrance Day anyway. The poppy is something that they use all the time in my targeting. They'll have their cars, regardless of, I mean it's October now, but this is throughout the year, they'll have these poppies on their cars, badges on their clothes, on their bags, poppy, insignia on their t-shirts, etc, etc. So yeah, a couple of weeks before when they arrested me and they came to my house and said it was for communications issues, for sending texts, and I was like, okay. So as I got ready to go, I said, I've got a Swiss Army knife on my keys, I should probably take that off. And she went, yeah, it'd be best. So they knew that I had this on my keys. So that's how they had to arrest me when I was outside, so that I would have this on my keys, so that they could use this as like an extra kind of added charge, if you like, Just wait until I've gone past this. It's the colour of the season, apparently. Colour of the gang stalkers. So they knew that I had this Swiss Army knife on my keys, which is why they set up this little setup to arrest me outside, so that they could make an additional charge of me having a weapon on me. And if you get charged with anything to do with weapons, they take your DNA, so that was the setup, They wanted my DNA and that was their way of getting it. So I think it has something to do with your DNA, whether they put it into a system or something, put it into a kind of computer system, some kind of central server, and yes. I don't know if it'll pick it up, it says dog registration. Put it into some kind of, central server that's kind of running this, parts of the simulation, or certainly they can put you into a kind of abusive part of the simulation, so they'll put your DNA, anyone they want targeted, and they'll add it into like an algorithm that everyone will do these fucking nasty things, beside you, in front of you, alongside you, they'll say these words, But I honestly think it is the DNA has got to have some kind of purpose, or they wouldn't have needed to collect it otherwise. Also, I find quite interesting, when I seen my brother last time, he was saying that his ex for Christmas had bought him a 23andMe, like a DNA thing. And when he done it, he sent it away, and when it came back, he had, we share the same parents, but his ancestry was 1% Arab, which I find quite interesting, I don't know any Arab. Inshallah. I think that means God willing, doesn't it? So that's quite interesting as well, But, the police wanted my DNA was no mistake. They had to invent some excuse to get it, and I honestly do believe that this system, this military system that they use to harass you and other people around you to harass you, is definitely based on DNA somehow. Definitely some kind of something within the system, isn't it? Another one of my great exploitations, like learning from a toddler. You're not learning shit from me, are you? All I can do is share my experience, that's all I can do. But yeah, it's definitely something to consider, isn't it? It's interesting how they wanted it, how the police wanted it, and I find my brother, although a fucking retard for sending his DNA off to one of those companies, more for him. But I find the Arab connection kind of interesting as well, given what I've kind of learned going forward. But yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to say on that. They won't walk on the same side of the road as me, so I'm filming. Get him with his box. Don't know if you can see. The camera's absolutely shite, isn't it? I said before, they love to carry boxes past me. Look at him fucking goon. Carry a box past her, that's what to do, they will give you £10. Fucking spastics. Anyway, lots of love to you all. Oh, sirens. Obviously don't like me mocking their little paedophile gang stalkers. Let's see who it is. Can we guess? Is it coming from behind? Sounds to me like the dirty chief pedos. It does. Let's see. See, who is it? Who is it? Oh no, it's the second in the line of dirty pedos. Not the piggy police. Dirty ambulance NHS. Scummy, corrupt piece of shit. Anyway, take care. Lots of love.